Hello and welcome back to Rory's Workshop. Today I'm underneath the 110. I'm now measuring up for I'm going to build a belly pan. Because one of the biggest drawbacks of these is that although everything's above the underside of the chassis, if we go over something and we get caught, it's very easy to trash either your transmission or the handbrake drum, which is the lowest point. So I'm going to measure up. I'm going to go from the back end of this cross member here, just about, I think it's 750 mil, just so it goes behind the drum, and then I'm going to get it bent up. So we've got a little bit of a ramp, and then obviously try and make it easily removable. Should anything go wrong, we can remove it quickly. How I'm going to do that, I'm not 100% sure yet. I think the best way for me to do it would be for me to weld on some 90-degree angle brackets and then bolt through the chassis, just in case there's something goes wrong and it starts to bend it. I did think about putting 90-degree brackets on the chassis and welding and then going straight to it, but then you're going to have the bolts hanging down and it's more of a snagging hazard that I'm trying to avoid. So I might go through the side of the chassis, try and find some holes that are already there from Land Rover, and fabricate them in. But yeah, we'll get there, and then hopefully I'll get this all measured up, draw it up neatly. I'm going to do two. There's going to be one for the front, one for the rear behind the cross member, and I'm going to probably do a short one just in front, just as sort of maybe a ramp for the front cross member, just to try and smooth it all out and make it less of a snagging hazard. Yeah, we'll get there. Time for a time lapse. So I've come back from lunch and I've had a look at the wiring inside. In fact, I'll show you. Yeah. Let me show you. Picture paints 1,000 words. Look at that. So I've come inside and I'm pleasantly surprised that actually the wiring in the cab, and it's particularly the stuff that's in here, all the switches for the front and rear, winches and for the light and whatever, are really well done. So clearly there's been certainly at least two people to working on this. One is brilliant, one's work is really good, and the others not so much. So to that end, I've taken off the fuse box to have a look, and this has all been redone, and actually it's quite a neat job, which I'm really pleased about. I've downloaded the full wiring diagram for the 300 TDI Defender, and I just actually thought, I'll just check to make sure, because obviously each one of those wires has a different color code, so I just thought I'd double check to see what actually comes up to the end. And thankfully, I'm just slowly picking through it now. You can see that these all have different colors in this part of the loom, and then it just goes to, you know, this is good guy, this is not so good guy. So we'll have a look and we'll slowly pick our way through. What I plan to do at the moment, naturally it's subject to change, is I'm going to have a look at each individual side, so driver side front, passenger side front, strip it all back so I get back to this good wire, and then I'll have a look and see and make sure that what the colour code here is what it's meant to be from Land Rover, because obviously a big thing for me is reliability, and having it reliable and being wherever you are, whether you be in the UK or abroad, it's having stuff available that's online. So rather than you having to carry around a whole load of information on your phone or whatever, you can go online and you know it's going to be a standard kit. Because this doesn't need anything fancy electronically, it just needs to be right and it needs to work. Whereas obviously at the moment with, I'm going to use the term bodges because I think that's quite apt, like this, it's not great. I'm going to get most of my vehicle wiring things, all the wires and what have you, I'll get new plugs. I've ordered new indicator lenses and I've ordered a whole lot of stuff from Baymac, which will be here. in the next couple of days. I'm going to use, for my electrical stuff, is Vehicle Wiring Products. I've used them in the past, and they've always been very good. And they've got all the colour-coded stuff. So if you need any of the colour-coded stuff, that's generally fitted to cars like that, with the orange band and the blue. They've got it all ready to rock and roll. And they're really nice people. So I'm going to set up a time-lapse now of me stripping down so you get to see what I see. And no doubt I'll get back to you in a little bit. Okay, so you just see me dissect the loom back. The loom, to a point, is like I said before, is very well made. And I've downloaded the app where you can have the full 300 TDI wiring diagram. This is the headlights, side lights and what have you. And thankfully the person who's wired this has used this for the wiring diagram, so it makes it so much easier for me, who now has to go through it and chase it all. Hopefully there's enough length in the front for us to sort of chop all this off. I'm going to chop all this off anyway. But it drastically minimises how much we need to order, which is great. And then I want to get this sorted, because this will take more time than sort of fitting the lights and anything else. Obviously I want it to be right. But yeah, hopefully there's enough length there for it to go underneath, and it'll sit here. And then for the side indicator, I've ordered all new ones, of course. And then I'll probably, depending on how long the wires are, and I can mark them up separately, so that should anything go wrong in the future, you can see where to go. But now I'm going to turn my attention to the rear, and I'm hoping that the rear is something similar. I'm going to sort of have a look in here, and certainly under here, and have a look at all these, if they've got telltale marks. Oh, just, if you're going to do this, do it for a short period, but please do fix it properly. Trust me, it makes your life a lot easier later on. And somewhere in the line, these ones at the top are splicing, so I need to find that and make sure that that's correct, because those need to be changed anyway, because they're full of water. I'll plod on, and I'll do a bit of a time lapse so you can see what's going on and keep up to date. Yeah, let's do that. Roll the time lapse. So now I've crawled up onto the top of the truck, and now I'm going to have a look at these lights, because this one's filled with water and this one's not very well. Both of them aren't working particularly well. Rain and water has gotten into here. I've got some tape or some other stuff that I could use on here to stop it from happening, or to at least minimize it. But I'm still carrying on stripping bloody wiring. You can see here they're all a handy shade of blue, and they're all really handily, all the powers are red and black. So I'm going to strip them all back. I'm going to play about, and I'll make my own sort of colour coding thing. My current plan is to, I probably said it before, is to get wires from with the same colours and then run them up to here. So at least when you get, if something goes wrong and you're up here, at least you've got the right same colours as the bloody diagram. Because at the moment, blue, black, well, it's black I presume is earth, but then I got so many blacks. There's a black there, the black under here. It's just, for God's sake, if you're going to do it right. Rather than all of these bloody connectors, but there we go. We shall endeavour, and hopefully we'll get this at least stripped, and then we've got an idea of what we need to order, because every time it seems to be the Fergie all over again, pulling stuff apart and finding more stuff not quite right. So yes, I'll strip all this down, and then I'll measure from probably here all the way down to the connection I'm going to put at the back. I think what I'm going to do at the back is add one of those Rubberlite junction boxes, like the chocolate boxes, so at least I can have one wire going in and it's all waterproof, and I can come out from there and feed out to everywhere that I need it. That's my current plan, I think. I think that's probably the most logical and easy way to get things done, but I'll have word to some guys who are more into electronics than me and certainly into car wiring, and we'll go from there. But for the meantime, I'm going to plod on with this, and I'll catch up with you in a little bit. So now I've got an idea of what I'm doing with the wiring. I thought I've got a bit of time before I was going to finish today, so I thought I'd turn my attention to one of the other jobs on the car. And one of the jobs was this door never quite shut properly. It was always about that far open, and if you were like maybe stuck in a puddle, or you'd stopped in a puddle, and maybe a friend of yours noticed said gap in the door and then proceeded to drive through at pace through a puddle, it would send the water shooting through and you get soaked. Ask me how I know. Luckily I wasn't the driver, it was Squid. So Squid got quite wet and he said, if you wouldn't mind having a look. So I've had a look, and you can see all the other various attempts that this has had in the past. I thought it was just a matter of adjusting this, adjusting the catch, but it's still not right. I'm still not 100% happy, and obviously these holes have been put in afterwards. I tried to put it back in the stock location, but upon further inspection I sort of noticed that this wasn't quite right. So this is obviously how it shuts, and then you open the lever and then it opens, but this one doesn't. It sort of thinks about it, and then you sort of have to fart on with it until it fully opens. So I think inside here is full of shmoo. Let's have a look, see if we... So yeah, so I think inside of here is full of shmoo, and it's just... because obviously it gets a whole load of crap from this side and through the hole, and it's just not quite right. So I'm gonna clean it. I'm gonna leave it to soak in the kerosene bath, and hopefully that'll sort of clear out it'll break down the grease that's in there, and then we can fill it full of. I'll probably use the Corrosion X stuff that I use. I love that Corrosion X. It's bloody brilliant stuff to lubricate it all back up, because obviously it is a sealed unit, and I don't want to be farting on trying to break into it and break it. I'd rather just try to fix what we've got. So that's what I'll do. And I think that'll do for today. We've done quite a bit. We've broken it down into a lot more pieces. But now we've got to go a way ahead, and I've made a list on the on the window here, so you can see all the things that I've written on there. This is how much wire I need per cable to run up to the top, and then tail lights, reverse number plate, and actually an extra meter for each indicator for the front, because obviously we've got the ones on the side and we've got the ones on the front, and I want to have a sort of nice neat job. So top rear lights, obviously we've got side brake indicator. Maybe I might put a fog light up there. I'll see what the rule book says and see if we need it. Oh, there you go, you can see it now. The connector I'm going to use is a rubber light connection box, and then I do need some 10mm cable connectors, because there are some on the winch cable, particularly here. It is a bolt going through, but yeah, it's okay to get you out of the way, and if you're in a bind, but let's we've got it in. Let's do it once and do it well, and then we can start looking at everything else. But I think for today that's enough. I am going to try and put out these episodes as much as I can to keep you up to speed and to show how things are progressing prior to the King of Britain. Really looking forward to it, and obviously hopefully the way things are going we will be okay. But time will tell. Either way, this work needs to be done, whether it's for King of Britain or for any of the other events that we go to. But yeah, that'll do it for now. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye now.